Just want to be off the bat here. I want to let you know that our service is going to be a little different this week than what we have been doing the past few weeks. Of course, as most of you are aware, the state has issued some more restrictions, barriers for us to keep in mind as the coronavirus is kind of spiking a bit. And so we're trying our best to both honor that and try to continue to worship together. And so the main component that you see there, we're abiding by vast majority of what you see in that. The idea of 25% capacity up to 100 or 200 people, we're already and have been abiding by that for quite some time. The main component that you're going to see different in that now is the idea of congregational singing and band or choir type performances. And so we're going to try our best to honor that and also see that not just as what we're losing, but also maybe what God is trying to help us gain through that. And this has kind of just been a thought on my mind. I wonder, over the course of recent events in church history, the idea of singing as a part of our worship has become a very pronounced thing that sometimes people divide over and get angry over and whatever else. I still think it's a beautiful, important component of our worship, but I wonder if maybe in this season we'll be able to see worship in a little bit different side that is not just about song, but there's also components of scripture reading and prayer and sermon and song and all of that together to just see a heightened, more well-rounded aspect of worship. And so instead of just seeing what we lose and lose for a season, I'm encouraged to see maybe how God would use this to kind of give us a more well-rounded understanding of worship in general. And so there will be a couple components of our service today that you will have continued song. And as you see that, we encourage you to maybe stay in your seat, have more of a reflective tone rather than corporate singing with that. And so a time to reflect, to meditate, to think through what's being presented on the song and also the scripture connected to those songs. And then also you're going to see more prayer, more scripture reading in our service, just as an idea to kind of just build out kind of the whole of what worship is. Another announcement I want to give out today is just want to make sure that you're aware of the fact that this is budget time of year for the Vine Church. It's never a fun thing for us to talk about, but the idea that this is the time of year where we do our budget, and so we present it for 3 weeks, and then we ask the church membership to vote on that budget. And in that, we haven't changed anything from 2020 to 2021. You're essentially voting on the same budget as the year prior, and the reason for that, of course, is the virus, right? With the virus going on, it has drastically changed how we're doing church in this season, and so finances or where we're spending money has drastically changed. And so it's hard to project based off of 2020 what 2021 is their budget's going to be. And so in that, what we're trying to do is just present the same budget to you, and we'll make our adjustments as we need to. Like we've spent less money in kids ministry and hospitality, but we spent more money in technology and some other things this year. And so we're adjusting some of those as we need to. We're not going to change those in the budget and present it to you. We're just going to leave it as it is, expecting and hoping that sometime in 2021 we'll get back to more of a normal operations of our church. We're also making a change that instead of doing our budget in December and January, we're going to be doing it in June and July this year. We're going to change our annual budget, our budget time, so that it doesn't have us trying to do budget time in the middle of Thanksgiving and Christmas in future years. So we'll have a 6-month budget here that we're just going to push the same 2020 budget to 6 months further, basically. Then we'll vote again in July, and probably, hopefully, by that time the virus is done a bit, and we'll be able to have more of a good understanding of what the rest of that year and beyond is going to look like for us. So we're presenting this for 3 weeks. You'll get an email as a member to vote on this after the 3-week time we have out there. If you have any questions on that, please let us know. We'd love to answer any questions that you have, our reasoning or thought behind any of it. The final one I want to make sure you're aware of, final announcement, is the idea of our Thanksgiving service taking place next week. There will not be a live service at the Vine building next week. There will be one service at 10 o'clock, so instead of our normal 9 and 11, there will be one 10 a.m. Zoom service, and we're just trying to carry out our tradition of doing a testimony service, but doing it with our whole church family, and we're going to do that we're going to do that on Zoom next week. And so encourage you to be here for that. Pull up your computers if you're at home with family, whatever you're doing. Pull up your computers and just a time for us to give testimony together. So if you have a testimony you want to share, please share that with us. Share it with Tong. Tong's going to be emceeing that event. Also, just share it if you don't have connection with Tom. Just use our church email, info@thevinenw.com. Send it there. We'd love to kind of set aside some testimonies to start with, And then, of course, we'll have some pop-up stuff come up. There's the ability in Zoom to raise your hand, so we'll use that raise your hand feature in Zoom to be able to give testimonies as well. So encouraged by how we're tackling the challenges that are presented. Want to continue to be praying for our world and in our area. Just pray that God keep people safe. There's a lot of people hurting right now. And then also just encouraged to be able to think through how we can be thankful this next season as we're leading up to Thanksgiving. So